What's happening, Andy here? I'm joined today by Karl Byrne. Coach Karl, how are you doing down there in
I,
Atlanta?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, bud?
I am great, Karl. Last I saw you, we were down in Atlanta. You were working for a new company. I didn't realize that you had even started working somewhere else. Our paths crossed for a while when you were running a lot of the Forza stuff over at Konica Minolta,
Right.
the
Yeah, yeah.
ERP system. So tell us what's happening. What have you been up to?
I have I've been with Milner now since June, right? I came as you mentioned, I was with KM for about 3.5 years prior to that. And then I was with CIT Bank for gosh, Andy, probably about 17 years. So long time with the bank. Yeah, I was with the bank for about 7 in Europe, in Dublin, back home, and then came out to Jacksonville, Florida. Um, and had a few little boys over here, so I'm settled now in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah,
Irish, good old Irish Americans,
yeah.
and yeah, it's been fun. But we crossed paths. I think we were at the high tech golf, wasn't it? The high tech
Yes.
golf. Yes, we
High
did.
tech
Yes, we
Ricoh
did.
putting in the
Yeah,
pink for American Cancer for breast cancer. They raised
that's right.
almost 80, maybe even over $80,000. Just a great day of golf, great weather. And I was just so surprised. You just don't see somebody for a few months or a year or so, and then you popped right up. So we were joking, Coach Karl, but tell me, what are you doing today? You let me know before. Why
Uh,
you dressed up so well for this interview?
I I am in a parking lot getting ready for my 3 to 5 coaching session with the Holy Family Catholic School. I volunteer there once a week, or once every other week. Yeah, once every other week, really. And yeah, I'm going to coach their varsity football team, co-ed.
All right. Now we're talking
Yeah,
football, like your football or my football.
we're talking my football. Yeah.
So
So
soccer,
real football, real football. Right? The one with the ball
the
underneath
round
your
one, the
foot.
round
The
one.
round one, the round one. Yeah.
All
So
right.
there you go.
Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. So you're down there in Jacksonville.
I am.
You're working with. So let's talk a little bit about Milner. Most people
No,
know who Milner is, but headquartered in Atlanta, they are
that's right.
just a fairly, I would say, famous dealer in the South, right? Like they are one of the big ones down there, and
Yeah.
um, they've hosted us several times on that Jillian fundraiser ride that I've done coming across the country. These guys have, given us a nice breakfast, sometimes even some nice weather, but not always, but always a nice breakfast and always a very generous donation to our cause that we all hold dear to us. But tell us a little bit about who's Milner. What do you guys do down there in Atlanta and in Florida and beyond Georgia? And then we'll get into what you're doing for them now.
Fantastic. Yeah. So Milner, I mean, southeast everywhere from Florida all the way up through the Carolinas. We're starting to move a little bit into the northeast as well, that tri-state area. A few large customers in the southeast that have kind of given us that connection up into New Jersey, New York type area. So yeah, I mean, Milner copier side is huge. Biggest market would be in Florida. But right now, why I'm here is really to run Milner Technologies. Robbie Haversick, fantastic
Yeah.
man. Everybody knows Robbie, right?
Yeah.
He's been in the industry a long time, and he is enjoying his golf a little bit more than working, right? So he's on the retirement path, and he has passed the baton on to me, so to speak. So yeah, that's Tom McMahon and I got together with a Forza conversation back in June, I think June, May, and it was around that time I met Dusty as well, and we had a conversation, and here I am.
Well, Dusty and Robbie, you got big shoes to fill getting into that family business down there. They are both very well known. Robbie's been the one who hosted us at all those breakfasts, but Dusty's popped in plenty of times as well. So Milner down there, you guys are your Ricoh, your Konica Minolta, a little HP. You get into managed services as well. Is that something that Milner is into also, or what other services?
We do, yeah. So on the technology side, we would have IT services. We would have IT security. We have some doc management. So We have our own software company as well. So we do. They would be our four major components that we work with. But our managed services, for sure, we have long-standing. We founded in 1987, so we have good pedigree there, a good amount of years there, and we have some very strong businesses. We have an office in Orlando. We just opened, and it boomed straight away, right? So there's really a great opportunity for us in a number of cities, especially in Florida.
Well, you've been growing quite a bit. Florida was one of those areas you expanded a few years ago. I think, if I remember correctly, Milner was one of the companies that got very, very lucky with some of the Ricoh population that got moved from the branches into some of the dealers' hands. So overnight, they grew significantly down, especially in the Florida area, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
But just a real legacy of office equipment down there. Milner's history, if I remember correctly, also tied in with Lanier,
Correct.
and so there's a real big tie in between the Milner organization and Ricoh, because Ricoh was the one who acquired Lanier, right? So there's a lot of crossover there. Very, very tight relationship. It has been for many years, and they're very strong with Konica Minolta as well. And you've got some history there too. So moving into Robbie's role, and kind of as Robbie continues to sort of take that that final victory lap over the next however long he decides to wind down. What are you started again to? What's your role look like? What are you going to be doing there?
Well, it would be running Milner Technologies, so running the managed services business, Cyber One, which is our IT security business, and our solution software business. So that those three businesses would report up into me. On the imaging side, that would stay with other individuals within. Tom McMahon has everything, but he would have Anthony Del Grosso, who runs Florida, would report up into him on the imaging side. So imaging would be one component, and then on the technology side, it would be me.
Well, a lot of changes at Milner, exciting times, right? So they've, they are definitely handling this. I wouldn't call it aging out, but it's a handoff, right? It's a good handoff. There's the family who, they started it, then they brought in the other people like Dusty and Robbie and everybody, and now we're hitting this sort of the next phase, and as those guys step back a little bit, the newer regime comes in, right? So absolutely exciting times for you guys.
It is indeed. We have, Case and Milner Dusty Milner is obviously. And Case in that lineage is going to continue with the company, and that family component is really special. It's really, really nice to see. Cason's very, very strong, and is definitely cut off the old block, right?
Yeah, I saw him down. I'm trying to remember last time I saw him. Might have been at the last Executive Connections Summit back in January. We were at the summit, but then we did some golf afterwards. Milner had a big presence at that Executive Connection Summit, so I'm sure we'll be seeing you and the rest of your crew there as well. That's coming up in January.
It is.
Everything else, how do you like being on the dealer side? You've been on the corporate side for sounds like most of your career. How do you like this side of it?
It is. It's different. It's on the corporate side, as you might assume, a lot more red tape. Things move a little bit slower, a little bit more, a little bit tighter, I would say. Right. On the dealer side, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more flexible, a little faster flowing. So yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. I'm really enjoying it. I've actually loved been starting obviously to spend a lot of time in Atlanta. And I'm loving the amount of time I'm spending there. I like the city. I like the people. It's a good place. Good place.
Yeah, it's not bad, especially this time of year. You're not going to be missing the Northeast. It's right now it's beautiful, but talk to me in a week or two. It's going to start getting a little nasty up here. I'll be looking for some trips. Maybe I'll come down there and visit you down in Jacksonville.
There you go.
Thanks though for taking some time. And when we saw each other down in Atlanta at that golf tournament, I thought we definitely have to catch up. And especially when when you were telling me the new spot that you had and what you're going to be doing going forward. So congratulations on just an awesome spot that you landed in. What a fun place to be. And you know, I think you're going to have a good time there, and you're with a great company. You can't, you know, it's
Can't go
don't mess it up, right?
wrong. Exactly. Exactly.
This was great.
All right.
Coach
Well,
Karl, thanks for stopping by on the show. Any last shout outs you want to throw out to anybody down there at Milner, Atlanta, at Konica,
Nah,
anywhere else?
just want to thank the Milner family and Tom McMahon, Robbie Haverstick in particular as well. But just that'll be it. Thank you.
Well, great people down
Thanks
there.
for
And
having me.
I look forward to seeing you down there, and you know, we'll catch up soon, Karl. Great seeing you. Take
Awesome.
care.
Thank you, buddy. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.